'Twas the night before Thanksgiving. Really loud crowd here at Golden One Center. Everyone home for the holiday. And the Kings with one of the ugliest first quarters I've ever seen.
In modern history.
In modern history. Two, a game where they fought back and kept responding. Ended up losing by 12. Kings lose 112-100. Morgan Reagan, Deuce Mason talking about this Kings loss on their home floor. And Deuce, the Boo Birds were out early. It was an ugly first quarter. I did not know what to expect from the rest of this game, but I was pleasantly surprised with the fight throughout.
You got back in the game, but when you dig yourself that fat of a hole early, I don't know what you're supposed to do. They got down 41-16 after the first quarter. I don't think I can remember seeing a quarter where a team has 0 assists and 7 turnovers. It was that type of start for Sacramento, and that's just brutal. I don't care who you're facing. It's an uphill battle, and you've got to play perfect after that. Look at the first quarter comparison, Morgan. Bad shooting, getting crushed on the glass, no assists, 7 turnovers.
It's the assists. It's the assists. When you see that number, I mean, of course, when you see 16 points scored compared to 41, you're just like, what?
Yeah.
But then you see the assist number and you're like, oh, well, was the ball moving? Were people even getting looks at the rim? There's just so many turnovers. There's so many bad things happening. It's not the way that you want to come out in any basketball game, but my goodness, KYP, know your personnel. And when you see someone like Gillespie just wide open from three-point land, especially early on, that is when I was super disappointed.
Yeah, and some of the turnovers were just so careless, too. And that guy, Mark Williams, he was probably the Suns' best player tonight, all over the glass. And the Kings couldn't get anything going. And I thought defensively there were plenty of breakdowns. The thing you just mentioned, you know, with Gillespie, this guy is a marksman. He's come off the bench this year, been explosive. You could tell how he impacts the game. He's so good at getting into the paint. But he's also a great shooter. And in that starting lineup, when Booker's seeing double teams, you better know where he's at all times. And you're allowing an open three. Or, you know, there's a stretch where the Kings went under on a screen when trying to defend Gillespie. Well, that's going to hurt you. So that first quarter could not have gone worse for Sacramento. And like I said, it was an uphill battle after that. And in addition to that, Keegan Murray picked up 2 fouls early, which really hurt things too.
Super frustrating, especially when he was navigating a screen, got called, and then the other one when he got called for just, I mean, if you want to call him grazing Devin Booker's hand, either way, it doesn't matter. Like, if that's what the officiating crew wants to deem a foul, you just have to be prepared for it. I'm glad that it didn't stop this Kings team from being physical throughout this game, because I know sometimes that can dictate things. I thought both the officiating crew and the Kings did a good job going forward. But yeah, you're exactly right. Every single time Keegan Murray was not on the floor, you could see the difference tonight.
Wow.
And what?
In some ways, that's an exciting thing long-term for Sacramento, because Keegan, it's looking like he's taking a big jump here.
Yes.
We know what he does defensively. We'll talk more about that. But offensively, right, he's getting shots up. He's being aggressive, and we're seeing it game after game. You know, he wasn't perfect tonight from the perimeter, 2 of 9 from 3, but I like that he's taken 9 attempts. What you just said is exactly right. The Kings were a completely different basketball team when Keegan Murray is on the bench.
Oh my goodness. And I do have to say, it does feel like Lambeau Field in here when these doors are open in the front.
No, don't get me wrong. I am freezing.
Okay.
In fact,
I'm just not good. I'm not good at like acting like, oh, I'm fine, because I'm not fine. But I did not bring a big puffy jacket to wear on air. So
can I get some gloves? Anybody have gloves? I have frostbite. They may have to amputate my hand.
Anyway, going back to this Kings loss, we talked about the first quarter. Let's talk a little bit more about the response from the Sacramento Kings, though, because in that third quarter is really when the Kings came out strong and looked like a whole different team from the start.
Well, what a difference when you're actually getting some stops. And you're not throwing the ball all over the place.
That too.
Right? The third quarter, they got it going. And another big difference, guess who played the entire third quarter?
I mean, I could take a wild guess. Keegan Murray?
Keegan Murray played the entire third quarter. And he impacted the game, right? He was everywhere defensively, the shot making. And I thought Malik Monk, when he came into the third quarter, really brought some life to Sacramento. He took some tough shots tonight. but he also made some tough shots, and that allowed Sacramento to get back in this game.
It absolutely did. And, you know, look, it's something that we're going to look at every single time for the Sacramento Kings. What is their response going to be? My thing is looking at the response game to game, because I was already planning ahead, looking at the Utah Jazz going, okay, what's their response going to be going up against the Utah Jazz? And then you see this game get closer and closer, and you're going, okay, they're starting that a little early. They are starting to respond. In-game adjustments were being made. What was one of the biggest in-game adjustments that you recognized in that second half?
Well, I thought in the fourth quarter when they started to make a late push, I mean, you're seeing Keon Ellis on the floor. And, you know, there's no Schroeder tonight, opening up some minutes for Keon Ellis, who ends up playing 23 minutes off the bench. I'm sorry. Every time Keon Ellis comes into a game, there is an energy shift. And you're seeing it with his on-ball pressure, making the opposing guy work, deflection, steals, blocks. He just makes things happen out there. And for a team in Sacramento that is struggling at times to get stops, when I see a lineup that features Keegan and Keon out there, I get pretty excited. So, I mean, I thought that was another thing. I mean, let's be honest about it. Levine was sitting at the end of this game again. They took him out at the 5-ish minute mark of this game. Zach LaVine's in a funk right now. I thought the turnovers from him tonight were just brutal.
They were brutal.
He had 6 turnovers in 31 minutes. His shot wasn't falling. And I think that's one of the things Sacramento's going to look at this game. Some of the self-inflicted wounds with the turnovers tonight, just careless with the basketball.
And let's talk more about some of these vets not playing down the stretch, even in the last couple of games. But first, Keegan Murray spoke after this loss. Let's hear from him.
Keegan, obviously Phoenix jumps out to a big lead early there, and you guys kind of aren't able to recover. What do you think about what went wrong in there and how much that sort of set the tone for the rest of the game?
Yeah, it was a lot of – the first quarter was a lot of live ball turnovers. They had a lot of offensive rebounds. I think we were creating tough shots, so we weren't trying to make ourselves get easy ones. And then, obviously, when you lose a quarter 14-16 or 41-16, it's hard to come back, so we just dug ourselves too big of a hole.
What was the tough thing that just wasn't working, especially in that first quarter? You guys exit no assists and didn't look like the ball was moving at all.
Yeah, it was rough. I mean, it wasn't our brand of basketball at all. I think they did a good job of staying boxes and elbows and taking away the next pass. But I think the next 3 quarters, we started to figure it out a little bit, but it was just too late.
How much did what you guys were able to accomplish in that third quarter when you kind of closed the gap, started defensively?
Yeah, I mean, defensively, I feel like we got into them a little bit, made it harder for them. I mean, we held them to 3 straight under 30 quarters. So when you look at that, you think you'd win the game, but the first quarter got us. Then the start of the fourth quarter, they went on a little bit of a run, which we need to start that quarter off a little bit better.
Keegan, Mark Williams was getting a lot of putbacks, tip-ins, you know, going down the middle, downhill. What was going on with that as far as letting that happen?
Length. When you have a guy like that who's that big with that big of a wingspan, you got to have one person sacrifice just completely boxing him out, kind of like how he did with Gobert. But instead of, we're just trying to jump with him. So he was able to affect the game because we weren't putting a body on him. And that obviously led them have more extra opportunities.
Deuce, I know it was a tough game to watch at times, but man, every single time Keegan Murray was on the floor, something good was going down.
Like we mentioned, he played the entire third quarter, then he sat for the first few minutes of the fourth. Suns immediately go on a 7-0 run, and what you're seeing is just a confident player, and I'm going to say this right now, Morgan. I think he's the Kings' best player. You know, we're seeing year 4 Keegan Murray. It's knocking down shots, but defensively tonight, marvelous. I mean, he was making life tough on Devin Booker. When they were getting him off of Devin Booker, he's battling Mark Williams. Put him on anybody, he's going to make life more challenging. And unfortunately for Sacramento, one guy is not going to shift your entire defense and turn you into a good defensive team. But he makes a big impact out there. And I think now that he's being so aggressive offensively, I love what I'm seeing. I go a 6'8" guy who could shoot, put it on the floor, attack the rim, rebound, and play defense. He's the best player on the team.
Two things to what you were just saying. I don't think it's a big deal at all to say that he's the Kings' best player. I mean, I think it's obvious, if anything, especially in today's NBA when you have someone who can play on both sides of the floor to that elite level. Absolutely, yes. And then the other thing, we talked about this in the pregame, the impact that he makes defensively. Sure, one player isn't going to be able to completely shift an entire team's defense, but what he does add as a defender for a team defense is confidence, because he takes up so much more room, because he is so active, because he can get someone at the rim, meet them at the rim, make sure to protect the rim. And yes, we saw that all night long from Keegan Murray. We saw that in the last game as well. I just do not think it's crazy to sit here and say that he's the Kings' best player right now.
And it's encouraging, right? Because I think a lot of people have been waiting to see him to take that leap offensively, and now you're starting to see it. If anything, I thought early in that fourth quarter when he got back in the game, they needed to get him the rock more and let him create a little bit.
Absolutely.
I understand you've got some vets on this team who have accomplished a lot. DeMar DeRozan has scored at a high level. There's a lot of guys on this team who have accomplished amazing things in their career. Keegan Murray, especially for what he was doing out there, get him the rock and let him cook.
Oof, I'm so with you on that one. And coming up next, we'll make sure to talk a little bit more about who was playing down the stretch and in this game, this loss against the Phoenix Suns, 112-100. But the Kings fans,
people are happy
stand
tonight.
Strong tonight, going in to Thanksgiving tomorrow.